LinkedIn Echo Chamber. This is ML's Like Team Spirit. Today we have Bilal Ahmed with us. Bilal, how are you doing?
I'm good, John. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. Bilal, help me out. I'm building a global map of where all my guests are coming from. Where are you calling in from today?
Okay, so I'm the enterprise architect at Artifact. So that's my current position. But to get to that, it's about 20 odd years journey. So I've been into a few other roles during that time. So which is the head of BI, and before that, the head of data analytics, and yeah, a few roles before. So I started quite a while back with Nokia, and then moved on to in South America. So instead of doing anything else, I was working with telecoms and trying to make sense of data back in early 2000s, and then moved to UK. Started working with another company as a data analyst, and then moved to head of analytics, and then to head of BI in Cardlytics, and now eventually it's the enterprise. So I wear a few hats in my role. So it could be working outright with the clients to define their data strategy, see what kind of shifts they need to make in order to have a better data strategy in place, how to shape up their teams to be more robust and align with their goals and ambitions, and how to achieve better value from their data.
Good. Well, we want to pick at that today, Bilal. You jumped straight into your intro without quite giving me your location, please. Where are you in the world right now, Bilal?
Right right now, I'm in Oxford. I'm visiting a friend, but I'm based in London, and this
Okay.
is where the house is.
Well, I think what I'm going to do is, for my world map, I'm going to claim South America, because you've just reminded me that you lived and worked there.
I
And
have, yes.
I don't think I know anyone else. So, hey, Brazil, wasn't it?
It was Colombia.
Damn it. Okay, Colombia is going to get a pin, and that gives me another country to my list of guests. Hey, Bilal, look,
It
I heard
is.
you say you've wear many hats throughout your career. I would agree with this. We worked together 8 years ago, and for me, you were a man who could do things with data viz that I had never seen before. So you were a true practitioner. Trying to make data engaging. This much I can vouch for. But today, we're actually going to speak about a topic that you volunteered. So you talked about really AI and ML adoption, and
Yeah.
how companies can begin to prepare for this and ensure readiness. Now, this was great because firstly, I didn't have to think about an interview topic, but secondly, it's very, very relevant. We're in the middle of this kind of AI craziness when all brands, small, medium, large, will be thinking of, like, how do I prepare for this? Because it's no longer something that's coming. It's here now, can create value now, but lots of brands don't know either what to do, when to do it, or what to focus on. So you were going to talk to us about this, and I'm going to hand it to you. So you had a point, your philosophy on this around what brands should be thinking about. So can you take it away, please?
All right. Yes, definitely. So I think the businesses are clearly thinking about how they are going to put the right foot forward in terms of machine learning and AI. The issue with so many businesses, as I speak to so many CTOs and CFOs and CEOs, is they want to do something. Then they clearly understand the value. They just don't know how to get from A to B. So what's the right step, or what's the right strategy they need to adopt to be able to make that change happen in their business. For me, as I've mentioned in my introduction, it's almost about 20 odd years. So I've seen businesses growing through data, but in so many ways, the businesses are not adapting to change. They're probably doing so many things that they have been doing traditionally. So which means that they're storing data, that's very traditional. The way they analyze this data, the way they report this data, again, it's very traditional. So that hasn't changed a great deal, in my opinion. And for the AI adoption, for getting the best use of their data, I think that's one of the fundamental things or changes that they need to make in their businesses. So the whole data strategy needs a 2.0 for sure. And when I say this, this means that the modern ways of storing the data, there are ways to getting the data out from too many silos inside the business. And once they start doing that, and once they start shaping this data into the right place with the right people, I think they're set up for success.
So, Bilal, I've got a question for you. I try and surprise every guest with a question that we didn't prepare for when we were setting this up. Okay, so here's
All right.
yours. So I'm old enough to remember when a data warehouse seemed like quite a cool thing, or even a database, to be honest. Data
Yeah.
warehouses, and then there was this concept of a data lake, which attempted
Yeah.
to overcome this silos. A data lake, everybody, is more just like a repository that has some governance around it, and the idea would be that all the data could be, appear there and placed there, but then
Yeah.
the consumers, like the analysts and the data scientists, would kind of make it work on their own. And Bilal, I believe that never really took off and never really created the value either of overcoming this siloed situation. What in your opinion? Like 100% of viewers of this video are facing a problem of silo. If it's not the data lake, what can they
Yeah.
be thinking about as something to do in the next 12 months to kickstart overcoming this?
So, well, the data lake scenario is picking up, and so is the data mesh. So
Ah,
that's for sure. I have talked to people; they're adopting it, and I think that's the way forward. Rather than again having departments running their own data warehouses or their own SQL boxes, I think that's been shifting now, where people have realized that they need to store the data centrally and start making the use of it. So, and the challenge for that is to adopt it. There's a cost factor there, and at a different scale, businesses could invest into bringing on new technologies, and that's happening. The issue is that businesses which are somewhat not at the very high level, they need to either adapt to several different processes internally and rely on tools which are not maybe industry leading or it comes at a slightly lower cost. However, there is a tool which is available for every company. Cloud migration, I think it's been fundamental because it is taking away so much pain from the organizations who wanted initially who have on-prem infrastructure and always been struggled to scale this up. So I think this is where, to answer your question, John, the cloud, in my opinion, is the best way forward because all that scalability, all that the options to experiment with different tools and technologies, it's already there.
got it, Bilal. So the data lake concept is okay as long as the businesses don't have to support it too much. So cloud takes away loads of those headaches from managing data flows, having engineers around. If you make everything cloud first, you get the benefits of data lake without necessarily the cost or the other overheads that can come with it. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, yes.
Good. Well, let me get back to your list, Bilal. So, look, the key challenges AI and ML adoption. So, we've probably overcome the data one, like
Yep.
folks. So cloud first tech, all the data in one place. You need to overcome that. What else was on your list, Bilal, that brands need to be thinking about?
So the other thing which is fundamental is the importance of resource. And again, as I speak to businesses, I look into their teams and structures. I think this is still there's a gap in the market where uh, the companies are probably struggling somewhat to recruit the right resource. And there could be different aspects to that. Again, it could be that it's there's a huge cost stack that comes with hiring top talent, and that's for one. And then if you look at the other side of the spectrum, something needs to be proven a use case before the CFO or the CEO says that okay, I want to pay for those resources. So I think that's where some of the challenges for the enterprises where they're struggling to bring in top talent uh, into their organization to start moving things around.
Talk to me about the use cases because I feel like this is like my life. So, a lot of people will be looking at AI,
Yeah.
feeling hugely excited that it presents some sort of opportunity. Um, how have you been thinking about this? Of like, just even finding the use case. What does a brand need to be thinking of before they then, can have a benefits case to invest in it?
Right. I think the The larger part of machine learning and AI at the moment is automation. It's taking that part of the job from people who've been running Excel files or loading Excel files or trying to work in so many different ways to tame the data. So I think that's to start with. There's a huge value with machine learning and AI adoption to the companies. He could straight away automate so many of these tasks from the people and hand it over to AI and machine learning. So I talk about a use case. So there's a business that I've been working with, and they've been trying for a long time to have the data categorized in a certain way. And the processes they have built so far is that they have people who just go in, look at the data, and put the correct category. And I know that you're already thinking, why on earth they're doing it? But I think the key is that it's at a, and we know that working in data, we know that there's a clear win from by implementing machine learning and AI in those sort of scenarios. The challenge again is that there's a level of trust that's still lacking from the business side. So and unless that trust, there's an element of trust, then there's another element of people who are actually doing that job and thinking, my goodness, if that's been taken away from me, what the heck I'll be doing? Without realizing that they could actually be moved on to doing smarter things and do best of their time and increase their productivity. So I think this is where the things are at the moment. But back to the original question, I think there's so much opportunity to apply machine learning use cases. It's just to unlock those use cases, and by doing right amount of R&D as a starting point.
Yeah, the R&D is important. So I suppose you're saying trying to sort of prove value earlier in the process. So R&D by definition is something that's early stage. It's MVP. It's a POC, and that's the thing when you say the lack of sort of, is there enough trust in AI and ML? I suppose you're saying try and do these R&D pieces so that management understand what things might, you're trying to be about confidence, aren't you? You're saying, hey, we don't know that this will work, but this R&D says this might be a direction that we can go, and this thing over here didn't work at all, or something like this. So it's trying to get these use cases out early, so you even know what's possible, I suppose.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, you've inspired me on one point. Anyone in my network, I'm quite interested as to whether there's any HR professionals out there that are thinking about their staff, who and these staff might be concerned about being repurposed, losing their job, or automation affecting them. Like, I know the people who do the work feel this way, but I wonder if there are like HR people thinking about how do we manage, transition people into roles, consider our organizational structure. Network, I would love to know if there's anyone actively thinking about this who's in HR. But Bilal, I've got good news and bad news for you. The good news is you've survived your first interview with me, so congratulations. The bad news is that we're hitting time, but we have got one more minute. Any final thoughts as to important points when you're building a data strategy like this or preparing for AI and ML adoption? Is there anything I missed today?
No, I think we've discussed and touched on most of the aspects. The only point I would say is I would want to reach out to the audience, so the CEOs, CTOs, CFOs who are looking at this video, and say, it's the time to move forward. It's the time to invest and start thinking about the value they could generate from investing into the platforms, their people, and the technology.
Amen to that. Network, you have an offer from us. Contact us if you need a hand or an opinion. Bilal, thanks for joining us. Ladies and gents, this has been ML's Like Teen Spirit.